In today's video, I will be taking a look at another hypothetical 2024 presidential matchup between a Republican and a Democrat, just any Republican and any Democrat, and I'm going to see who wins in this hypothetical presidential election. Again, I'm going to take probability into account because I'm not necessarily selecting either political candidate to be their nominees. So I'm going to get right into today's video. So I'm going to start off by filling in the safe states for both parties. This should not be too surprising for either party. I would be a little bit more lenient with the safe states because I don't know what the candidates will be, so I'm going to give more safe states towards both parties. So that will be the safe states for both parties. Now for the likely states for Democrats: Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, Virginia, the state of New Jersey, and Maine's 1st District will be considered likely for the Democratic Party. Now, Hawaii I did miss, but for the Republicans, Alaska, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, Iowa, Ohio, Maine's 2nd District will all be considered likely for the Republican Party. I don't think either of these characterizations will be too surprising. Some of the margins may be slightly narrower. For example, in the state of Texas, the margin could be slightly under 5%, and Florida as well could be slightly under 5% as well, but it really doesn't matter that much. These states will definitely go in their respective columns. Now for the lead states for both parties, I'm going to start off with the states of Nevada and then go over to states like Pennsylvania and New Hampshire. So for the state of Nevada, it could very well depend on the candidates, but I think that just generally speaking, given the trend in Clark County, I think Nevada does narrowly go to the GOP, maybe by about 0.5%, but in the end, a win is a win. Now for the state of Arizona, this is also a very close race. Democrats have been really doing better in the state in recent presidential years. However, I don't think this will be enough in this election. I think that the economy could be a very large issue. Abortion in 2022 was a very serious issue, and that brought Democrats ahead. However, I don't think they will have this type of a good issue to talk about and to energize voters to vote for them in 2024. So I'm going to give this state to the Republican Party. Now, Georgia, on the other hand, could be going to the Democratic Party because this is a state where the Democratic trend is one of the most significant in pretty much all of the swing states. It's a state that's been trending Democratic heavily. It's a state that used to pretty much only vote for Republicans, but now it has been voting for Democrats in the past elections. So assuming Republicans don't run someone that's moderate, the state will probably go for the Democratic Party. Now for the state of North Carolina. This is a state that's going to go to the Republican Party pretty much regardless of the candidates. North Carolina Republicans typically always win. The margins typically are always close, but Republicans typically always nearly win their seats. And it doesn't really matter if you win by 1% or if you win by 100%. It really just matters who carries the race. Now for the state of Minnesota. Minnesota, I think definitely Democrats are slightly favored in the state of Minnesota. Minnesota has a history of voting Democratic. It was the only state that voted for Walter Mondale back in 1984. It voted for Walter Mondale, and none of the other states actually did that. So Minnesota has a history of being blue. It's really competitive, especially in recent elections, but it always votes for the Democratic Party. Now Nebraska 2nd could go blue because Biden did win the district by 7. Although the district got 3 points redder, I believe, this district is still likely going to go for the Democratic Party. Now for the state of Wisconsin, I think Wisconsin will go to the Republicans. This shouldn't be much of a surprise, to be honest. Wisconsin has been trending Republican pretty significantly, so I'm going to give it to the Republican Party. Now for the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan probably will narrowly go for Democrats. Again, it's going to be very close. Most of these lean and tilt states are very decisive, but in the end, I think that Republicans would just fall short by a little bit in some of the rural areas and some of the suburban areas to give Democrats a narrow victory. Now for the state of Pennsylvania. This is a very interesting state. John Fetterman won by 5 points. Josh Shapiro won by 16 points. But Republicans have actually been improving in the state. So which trend will actually hold? Now I don't think this state is trending blue. Absolutely not. I think this state is trending red, but I don't think it will be enough for the GOP to win it back in 2024. Now for the state of New Hampshire, I think narrowly goes to the Democratic Party. It's a state that's been trending blue in recent elections, which is really interesting. I really thought the state was trending red. However, if you look at the history, the state of New Hampshire back in the 2000s or in the 1990s typically voted for the Republican candidate more. So I'm going to give it to the Democratic Party. Now for the state of Maine at large, just because of the first district has a much higher turnout, it typically always votes for the Democratic Party. So I'm going to give it to Democrats. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.